new day holds a promise. You can waste it or spend it advancing yourself, furthering your prospects and your career.
Hello gamers, today we are looking at the sequel to a game I have played before on the channel, that being Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the follow-up game to Mirror's Edge. Catalyst being a game that I have always known that has existed, but not one that I've ever played before, considering that I only completed Mirror's Edge for the first time for that video. So going into this game, I had no idea what the story was about or when it took place within the Mirror's Edge universe. However, as it turns out, I believe this game is some kind of soft reboot, as the game's story changes key features of the first one. But we will cover the story a bit later. Firstly, let's talk about the graphics. So they are clearly a visual improvement on the latter installment, with obviously 8 years of graphical developments between the two releases. So yes, it looks a lot better. However, I feel that with it looking better, the graphics of the game has lost some of what made it special from the first one, with the adding of a lot more colors to the City of Glass. It kind of subtracts from the feeling that the first game had, at least in my mind, of living in this endless city of glass and buildings. Adding more color to that adds a kind of splash of humanity to the city, even to the point where there are advertisements around the city for stuff that you just didn't see in the first game. Now, you would expect the follow-up to the best ever first-person parkour game would have some good movement mechanics, and well, yes, much like the first game, this game excels in parkour, maybe even being better than the first game. However, and sadly there is a however, the parkour for the most part seems less cool due to the way that the game's open world has been crafted. Instead of being a true open world, there are like 3 or 4 areas all connected by one passage, if that's a small tunnel or walkway. Like, I can't tell you how many times I had to go up this one ladder throughout the game, and you can't drop right down it because you'll die. So you need to like scamper down it, and the ladder mechanics in Mirror's Edge Catalyst are not the best. And a lot of the map itself just has like 1 or 2 good routes to do, which just zaps all the creativity from the run. And to be honest, those open areas don't really have many routes anyways. The only time I felt cool or like I was being able to come up with my own route was any time that Faith was inside of a building. Mainly the buildings that you only go in once for the game story. But I will say, even though the final mission was in a building, it was also very on rails a lot. Like, to have to go there and do this movement, but since you weren't doing the same thing every 20 minutes, and the grandiose of the final mission actually made it a pretty okay on rails segment. Now, something I also talked about in my Mirror's Edge video was how empty the city felt, but yet how big the city was, and how the city seemed to always be expanding. But yet, within your whole time in one, you never really see other people unless it's the blues chasing you. However, since Catalyst had gone with a ever popular open world design, there are a lot of people within the City of Glass, to the point where there are people just standing on random roofs who will ask Faith to do a run for them.
Runner, I have a job for you.
Which I always saw as a bit odd. Like, runners are meant to be somewhat outside of the law, but yet random people would just ask them to do runs. Like, come on, keep it on the hush hush. As in the first game, all of the runs would be sort of booked or set up through a middleman called Murph. So there are unfortunately not many characters that make the jump over from 1 to Catalyst, due to the aforementioned fact that I don't think the reboot takes place in technically the same universe. But however, of course, the particular character Faith carries over, and well, that's about it. There are people that I can tell who their counterparts from one were, like Faith still has a sister in this game, And then there is Noah, who is sort of the somewhat like father figure to Faith and Faith's boss in the world of runners, much like Merc from the first game. And then there are characters that I can't think of a counterpart for, mainly being characters like Icarus, a fellow runner who Noah sends to greet Faith when she leaves prison or juvie at the start of the game, and helps Faith on a bunch of different jobs. Icarus is basically the exact same as Faith, a runner who prefers to be left alone and believes themselves to be the best. The two of them somewhat start off as enemies till the capture of Noah halfway through the story, forcing them to work together to find out where he is, or if he is even still alive, turning into some kind of enemies to lovers trope or enemies to friends. I don't even know. It's like they wanted them to be a couple, but also certain aspects of this game make me think that they thought they were going to get a next game in the Catalyst series, and well, it's been many years and they haven't. Now, there is one last character to talk about, and that is going to bring us to the end of the video, so let's do a little bit of a build up here. At the start of the game, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really paying the most attention to the story. I was just running around doing side quests. As I went, paying sort of enough attention to the story to know what was going on, but it wasn't really capturing my attention or like amazing me whilst I was playing. And then as I slowly started to get to the point where I wasn't even going to finish the game, and then right after the capture of Noah by Krugersek, a mega corporation that basically owns half the city, Faith and Icarus end up staying with a group called Black November, a terrorist kind of freedom fighter group fighting against the large corporations referred to as corpos. And to really hurt them, they capture Isabel Kruger, the daughter of the CEO of Krugersek. Whilst Black November has Isabella in captivity, right before they plan on killing her, Faith finds out that Isabella is her long-lost, presumed dead sister, Kat. And let's just say, for whatever reason, I was like, this is a cool twist and I like it. Realistically, it's not, but I was enjoying it at the time. And with this small move the game made, I was reinvigorated to play the rest of the game. However, with how the story goes from this point on, I wasn't actually doing any more side quests, as I feel with the information that Faith continues to receive after finding out about her sister, it's not really right to stop and go help someone else. Like, it doesn't make sense for the flow of the narrative. But that's like another video on just the problems of open world games in general. So after finding out about Kat, she escapes whilst being moved, and after finding out that Noah is still alive, Faith goes to save him as he is in some underground facility where Kugasek is testing a nano that allows them to control the general populace. But whilst escaping the facility is where Noah unfortunately meets his demise.
Where is the blueprint? Well, you can screw yourself. He's not responding to the stimuli.
Yes, on a base level, he is aware that the emotions are false. If he had been a regular employee...
Then he is of no further use to us. Activate the termination protocol. We're scuttling the facility. Do it!
Come on. I'll get you out of here. No. No, 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 no. Don't do this. I'm here. I came for you.
And then after a couple more things happening that I don't quite remember, Faith then shows up at the tallest building in the whole city. So tall that it somehow has two massively oversized turbines built into the side of it. However, before Faith arrives there to try to save her sister, Black November conveniently conduct an attack on the building, setting off a large explosion, compromising the building. So Faith must make her way up to the top of the building to save her sister on the aforementioned from the earlier part of the video, the very on-rail segment of the game. But however, this is still very cool, as you can see. But after making it to the top of the tower and confronting Gabriel, Kruger and Isabel, a fight breaks out, and after a small collapsation of a helipad, the sisters are face to face, and Kat chooses to leave Faith to go with her adopted father, Gabriel. But with that, the game ends, setting up the fact that Faith and Isabel will be seeing each other again very soon, with Gabriel missing and presumed dead after the helipad incident, with Isabella taking control of Kruger Sec. And then once again, this is the downside of games ending on a bit of a cliffhanger of sorts. This game didn't do as well as expected by EA, and I do not believe there are any plans to make another Mirror's Edge, which is sad for the Mirror's Edge franchise. However, probably the best if they were moving in the direction of more stuff like this game. I mean, you can even choose to forget this entry and continue to play 1, as that's what I will be doing, as Mirror's Edge 1 has a perfect ending for the game, not setting up a new game, but even with that, I'm sure this game has its fair share of fans, who, unfortunately for them, will never get to see the end of their story. You could say they will not finish the story. And if I ever want to play a parkour game, I will just once again go play Mirror's Edge 1. Anyways, if you want to do all the YouTube stuff like subscribe and leave a like, that would be cool. And if you do, I might even see you in the next video.
Something we intend to finish.